Good morning students, I welcome you all for the online class of economics. Today we will be continuing with the graphical presentation of data. As I was explaining to you graphs of frequency distribution, so today I will be going with that only. The graph can be constructed in any of the following ways student. One is line frequency diagram, second is histogram, third is a frequency polygon, fourth is a smoothed frequency curve, and the fifth is cumulative frequency curve or ORGI. So line frequency diagram, when we say student, a line frequency graph is that graph in which the frequency is showed with the help of the lines. Means we will be pointing out the particular data in the particular graph, and then we will make a straight line to connect the frequency of the particular data. A line frequency graph is a discrete frequency distribution on a graph paper. In such a graph, various items or values are shown on the x-axis and the corresponding frequency on the y-axis. Frequencies of the values are shown in the form of vertical straight line. This type of graph is explained with the help of following example. Represent the following data with the help of line frequency diagram. Marks number of students. You can see their graph is there. The x number of student marks is given, x-axis and the y-axis. So here we can see the data like 0, 10 marks. It is represented in the x-axis. It is the x-axis. It is the y-axis. In the marks is represented in the x-axis and number of student frequency in the y-axis. Okay. And now what is representing there? The marks of 10 students is 9. 10 student marks has scored by 9 students, so it is 9. The marks scored by 20 marks is scored by 14 students, so it is 14. Likewise, the data is first set and then the line is drawn to make the. Generally, we are not creating this line graph because it is not so exact to know for the layman's. Histogram. The histogram is the best way of representing graphically a simple frequency distribution. It is constructed by erecting upon the class intervals columns or rectangles whose heights are in proportion to their given frequencies. Length of histograms indicate frequency and the breadth of the histogram indicates the size of class interval. Cases of constructing histogram. There are following 4 cases where histogram is constructed. Histogram when is created when equal class intervals are there. Represent the following data by histogram. What is the equal class interval here student? Let me show. Wages which is shown here, you can see the class interval 0 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 15, equal class of 5 gap is given there. When this type of data is given, we can have the histogram student for our data. Likewise here you can see there the graph is created, graph showing the marks, here number of workers and the wages. Here the class here it is there with gap is there 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, the same class is there. Okay, up to 35. 0 to 5, 4 is there. So 0 to 5 the data has been explained 4. Now 5 to 10 is 10. So here 5 to 10 between range. What you are seeing there? Gap is not there. Between two sets of data, gap is not created in the graph, and the graph is showing the equal class interval graph. This is known as histogram students. Histogram with the following data 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50 and so on. Here also the same gap is not there. Class intervals are continuous. So here we will be constructing the same way. Number of students definitely in y-axis, frequency in the y-axis, marks in the x-axis. Here you can see 0 to 10, how many students got 0 to 10 marks? 10 students, so 10 up to 10 line is drawn. This histogram is class in equal class interval. Histogram of unequal class interval, when class intervals are not equal, like 0 to 5 is not there, 0 to 5, then 6 to 10 likewise is there. This type of histogram is based on the data with unequal class intervals. When the data of class intervals are unequal, width of the rectangles would be different. The width of the rectangles would increase or decrease in the size of intervals before presenting the data in the form of graphs. Frequencies of unequal class intervals are adjusted. Construct histogram from the following data. Marks obtained, number of students. It is 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30. Likewise, the data is there. Number of students, you can see there 6, 10, 26, 22, 10 and 9. Data need to be adjusted before constructing histogram. Marks obtained, number of students. 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50 and so on. 50 to 60 and so on. Okay, 60 to 70, 70 to 80 and 80 to 90 likewise. Number of students is also given. What you are seeing there, data need to be adjusted before constructing histogram. Why so? Because here number of students are not so equal. One is having so less gap, 3 is there, and one is having 22. The height is so up and down, unequal is there. So here number of students, marks you can see there. Some data will be very small, some data will be very large. I am talking about this. You can see 26 is very great height and 3 is very down. This type of histogram, when it is you are seeing familiar, it is known as histogram with unequal class intervals. Okay, histogram with mid values are given. When histograms are given drawn with the mid values, first of all mid value has to be converted into class intervals, then it will be used for the drawing of the graph. Okay, mid values are there, number of students are given. First of all we convert mid values into different class intervals, then plot the values to construct histogram. There is a difference of 10 in succeeding mid values. We divide difference by 2, whatever we think. Like for example, how to convert this first 150, I will be telling you once I explained you. Okay, first we have to convert it into class 150 160. First of all, difference between 150 to 160 is 10. First rule of mid values to convert into class interval is that only take the difference of the first mid values, it came half it. How much it came? 5 it came. Okay, 5 the answer came, 10 by 2. Now what you have to do, this 5 what you got, first you will add in 150, you will subtract in 150 to get L1. Lower limit, what we have to do, 150 minus 5. Are you understanding? How much we get? 145. And for L2 what you have to do, 150 plus 5, that is 155. So our first class will be, our first class from the mid value will be 145 to 155. Same way do for 160. 160 minus 5, 155. Lower limit. Upper limit you have to add with that same number. 160 plus 5, 165. So this is the student how to convert the mid values into class interval. Then you can draw the data graph same way as we are done the data for histogram for equal class interval. Okay, so this is the way histogram when class intervals are given in inclusive series. Construct the histogram of the following data, student. Wages, number of workers, 5 to 9, 10 to 14. You are seeing this is inclusive series. When there is a not having same gap, 5 to 9 is there, then 10 to 14 is there, then 15 to 19 is there. Here class intervals are not matching. Number of workers, frequency is given. Okay. First of all, we construct inclusive class intervals into exclusive classes. For that, the rule is there. Again, I will be taking you the chapter number collection of data. There, organizing of data where we have set the data. First, you have to set the inclusive series into exclusive series. For that, rule is there. The upper limit of the first class minus a lower limit of the second class. So 10 minus 9, how much was student getting? You are getting 1. 1 divided by 2, how much you will be getting? 0.5 you will be getting. This 0.5 you will deduct from 5 from the lower limit, and in the upper limit you have to add up. So how much you will be getting, students? You will be doing there. You can see there down the class interval has been formed 4.5, 9, 2.5. How we have got? I already explained you now there. Now keeping there how to convert this inclusive series. This is inclusive because upper limit of the first class is not equal to lower limit of the second class. We have to convert it into exclusive series. Rule is upper limit of the first class must be deducted from the lower limit of the second class. So 10 minus 9, how much we will get? 1 divided by 2 you have to do, 0.5 will come. This 0.5 you have to subtract from lower limit and add up in the upper limit. So 5 minus 0.5 it will come 4.5, and upper limit 9 plus 0.5, 9.5. Same way for 10 and 14, 10 minus 0.5 it will 9.5, and 14 plus 0.5, 14.5. So you can see this class interval has been created. After creating, you can construct the histogram as the earlier one. So these are the ways of histograms creation. Frequency polygon. Frequency polygon is drawn by joining the midpoints of the top of rectangles in a histogram. However, a frequency polygon can be drawn even without constructing a histogram. For this, the mid values of the classes are marked on the x-axis on the graph. The corresponding frequencies are marked in the y-axis. Number of students, number of marks likewise. All the points indicating frequencies on the different classes are joined to make a graph. The histogram known as frequency polygon. Both the sides of a frequency polygon are extended to meet the x-axis. Frequency polygon can be drawn in two ways, with histogram, without histogram. With histogram, when we talk student, frequency polygon with histogram is as follows. Construct frequency polygon with the help of following data 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, and likewise is the number of workers are given there. You can see there, number of workers will be in the y-axis as it is drawn there. As I already said, it will be in the y-axis, and then the wages will be in the x-axis, that will be in the class intervals. So you have drawn, it is same histogram, but the thing is that where the pointing is there, like for example 0 to 10, class will have 10 workers. So here 10 is the pointing, then 10 to 20, where is the, how many workers are there? 18 are there. So here the pointing is done. So these points in the graph also we will connect, and we will make this is the frequency polygon. Frequency will be shown in the histogram. Okay, so this is frequency polygon, and between is the histogram. Frequency polygon without histogram represent the following data in the form of frequency polygon. Student mark number of students 10 to 20 and so on. You can do the same way. Midpoint you can take. Midpoint, how we have to take 10 plus 20 divided by 2, 15. These are the midpoints how we get. From the midpoints what we can do, we can connect and we can draw the frequency polygon. Like for example 0 to 15 is the mid value of the number of students is 10. So you can see midpoints we have marked here in the particular side. Y-axis and y-axis, x-axis we have shown the particular number of students. Number of student frequency in the y-axis and number of marks in the mid value shown in the x-axis. With the mid values we will pointing the frequency and we will draw a polygon, frequency polygon. Here histogram we have not taken. Smoothed frequency curve. A frequency curve is obtained by joining the points of a frequency polygon through freehand smoothed curves and not through straight lines. The area of a frequency curve is equal to the area of frequency polygon. While drawing a frequency curve, we should eliminate inequality of the polygon. The points of a frequency polygon are joined through a freehand smoothed curve rather than straight lines. Construct frequency curve on the basis of following data. Class intervals frequency 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30 and so on. 6, 10, 22, 12, 8, 4 is given. Histogram you will be drawing. Class interval will be shown in the x-axis and frequency in the, definitely frequency always in the y-axis. Just you have to draw the class interval and draw it. Frequency you have to connect it. It will be considered as smoothed frequency curve. Types of frequency curve. Positively skewed curve is there. Curve which are skewed to the right have their right side more spread than left one. You can see in this particular graph, here the right side, if you take the center of the curve, okay, right side is more spread as compared to left side. Can you see? This is positively skewed curve. By seeing the curve, you can recognize which type of frequency curve it is. Negatively skewed curve. When your left side is more, then such curves are tailed to the left side. Means here the particular curve will be going in the opposite direction. Likewise, it is moving. When it is moving like this and left side is more as compared to right side, it is known as negatively skewed curve. Okay. Now it is the J-shaped curve. When the curve shape comes in the J form, it is known as J-shaped curve. And U-shaped curve, when you are drawing with the data which is given with the frequency and the mid values of the class interval, when you are drawing the curve which is forming, it is coming in U-shape. It is known as U-shaped curve. U-shaped curves are formed if there are two high points in a series, both having equal or nearly equal frequency at the lowest and highest values. Most of the frequencies are concentrated about the lowest and highest class intervals. Mixed curve. These curves are formed when there is no specific pattern of the frequency corresponding to different values in the given distribution. Frequencies keep on increasing and decreasing corresponding to different classes. The following shows a mixed curve, also called a multimodal curve. Cumulative frequency curve or ogive. Cumulative frequency curve or ogive is constructed by plotting cumulative frequency data on the graph paper in the form of a smoothed curve. From such curve, we come to know about the frequencies corresponding to certain lower limits or upper limits in the distribution of data. Construction of a cumulative frequency curve or ogive. Cumulative frequency curve or ogive may be constructed in the following two ways. Less than method. In this method, frequencies are accumulated and indicated in the graph corresponding to upper limit of the classes in a frequency distribution. The frequencies would correspond to successively increasing values in the series in the less than manner. The resultant graph is known as less than ogive. So that is the ogive, the last part of the chapter. This curve actually we will not draw, students, so it is not important for us. Next chapter we will be proceeding is measures of center tendency, arithmetic average or mean, which I will be showing practical way. So that will be our next chapter. Mean, student. Central tendency means taking a central value from which we can diagnose the upper limit and the lower limit. What are the a particular value? Above that is the upper limits and below that is the lower limits. A central value which divide the series into two equal parts is known as central tendency of arithmetic mean. That is also known as arithmetic average. The collection, classification and tabulation, diagrammatic and graphical presentation of data are the important method to present the data in simple and easy understandable manner. But it is difficult to person to understand a large group of data. In order to analyze the statistical data and to make them comparable, it is essential to get one single value representing the entire data. For this, the statistical tools are needed. Measures of central tendency, measures of dispersion, correlation, etc. are the methods. Okay. This chapter we will contain measures of central tendency. Measures of central tendency, when we talk, student, it is that technique of statistical analysis by which we get such a value of series which represent the whole series. Such a value is called average or central value. A central tendency is thus a single figure that represents the whole mass of data. In common parlance, the word average is very commonly used. The use of average indicates the importance of averages. According to Dr. Bolle, statistics is the science of averages. According to Croxton and Cowden, an average is a single value within which the range of the data which is used to represent all the values in the series. Since an average is somewhere within the range of the data, it is sometimes called a measure of central tendency. Objectives and functions of statistical averages. The objectives and functions of statistical averages are as follows: to represent a brief picture of data. The main purpose of average is to present a simple and systematic description of the principal features of the raw data. As a result of it, data can easily be understood. It gives bird's eye view of the entire data. To facilitate comparison. The average facilitates comparison between two or more than two groups of data. For example, the average national income of 2009 can be compared with 2008. An easy and quick comparison of average national income of 2 years can be made. To represent the universe, averages also have to obtain a picture of the complete group by means of simple data. As the average marks of 100 students is 65, it means that 65 is that number which represents the marks of 100 students. Basis of statistical analysis. Average is the basis of statistical analysis. To know the average marks secured by the student of a class in different subjects, one can easily analyze the subject in which the students are weak. Helpful in formulation of policies. Averages are very useful in policy formulation. For example, for the removal of poverty from India, our government should take account per capita income, average productivity of labor, etc. So these were for today's class, student. Have a nice day. Next class we will be proceeding with characteristics of representative average. Thank you for today's class. Have a nice day.